Hey everyone, this is the Pat Mayo Experience presented by Jägermeister. Give your beer a shot this summer with an ice cold shot, a Jägermeister. Fienberg and I recap the US Open for like the first 30 minutes, so if you're here for only the Traveler stuff, starts around like the 31 minute mark. Check the time codes, they'll all be in there. Don't be afraid to give the episode a like, because that is the key to getting into the giveaways for some DK bucks, alright? Enjoy.
Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Travelers Championship Picks Preview, one and done, all that fun stuff. Recapping the US Open. Congratulations to Brooks Koepka on back-to-back victories, and maybe even a look at what's going on over in Europe. At the very end of the show, Tommy Fleetwood's over there. Sergio Garcia got an early flight over to play in the BMW, so there's a lot of big names, so we might as well break that down too. But first, let me bring in Geoff Fienberg. You hit a Brooks Koepka winner, so that's always nice. You hit it, Gup hit it, Baroff hit it, Geoff hit it. People kept tweeting me, they all hit it. I didn't hit it, but congratulations to everyone else.
I didn't hit it as hard as some others. Like, if someone dug up that, I sent April 20th, Brooks, 45-1, seemed nice. Played some, but when the week came, I wanted no part of that 20, and I didn't play the 45 hard enough, but you saw the ticket. It was a successful week. But I don't know, I wasn't seeing it coming in as other people were, but some huge winners, and I thought it was an incredible week, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into that more. Punter's probably going to buy like a Tesla now, at NYC Punter on Twitter, by the way. He's going to have a pizza party for everyone, too, with the gigantic amount of money he won.
How does that work?
I don't know. He's just going to go to a pizza shop in New York City, I suppose, and invite people for a slice of pizza.
Can he, can we have like a Toronto chapter one and send him the bill or something?
Maybe. You have to coordinate that with him. Obviously, John Rahm, for me, not a success.
Those 7 DraftKings points.
It was real dicey.
The 7 DraftKings points hurt a lot more than an outright ticket not winning a golf tournament.
Yeah, it basically destroyed all my Millionaire Maker lineups. I'll get into the full Millionaire Maker stuff with Ben Raza tomorrow on the DraftKings show, where he went wrong. There was a lot of chalky stuff at the very top. Even when you looked at the winning Millionaire Maker lineup, just a lot of popular plays, one little swerve, and boom. It was a duplicated lineup because it was chalky, but it won, so who really cares? There's a fly going around in here. It's kind of crazy.
Cameo.
So, it's going to be the new member of the show. What was I going to say?
You're going through some winners?
Fleetwood.
Maybe? You got 2 options when it comes to Tommy Fleetwood. I think Pepperell alluded to this, but I'll take it farther. Only 2 options. If you do not fall into one of these categories, turn it off. You can either A, like Tommy Fleetwood, or B, love Tommy Fleetwood. That's it.
Paul found a guy on Twitter who hates Tommy Fleetwood. I don't know how you could.
I'd have gotten naked if we got one more putt to drop, just like I did when Spieth put that second ball in the water at the Willet Masters. Well, my body would have started convulsing.
Well, I was in a very good spot. I had the 50-1 outright from before, didn't play any of the each ways, and then I grabbed Casey again on Saturday night, and I grabbed Fleetwood again. I grabbed DeChambeau. Bovada canceled that bet at 1,000-1. I grabbed like Russell Knox at 1,000. All the guys that I had basically before, I just kind of put a bit more on, but I played a $10 each way, so 10 on the outright, 10 on the each way with Tommy Fleetwood at 500-1 on Sunday night. So the each way paid $1,000, which was really nice, but I was sitting there being like, oh my God, am I going to win 10 grand? This is going to be fucking awesome. And then I didn't.
Nothing would have paid me more than Fleetwood winning.
Oh,
the 50-1, the amount of re-ups leading into the tournament, as Brooks's number fell in half or more than half, Fleetwood stayed the same, and I kept digging. It would have been magical, Pat. I just want to do a quick, in a nutshell.
I have more people to shout out here before you get into this.
But we're still doing Fleetwood.
We're just talking about winners and people who watch the show.
All I want to say is last year Fleetwood won 125 at the U.S. Open. He gave us a run.
160 at the U.S. Open.
This year won the 50. Still felt valuable. Gave us that run. What's he going to go off for next year? 20, who knows, right? So
when it came to hedging, I got greedy. I cashed out my original Fleetwood wager at 50-1 instead of hedging on Brooks, because Brooks and DJ were still there. Because there was a point on the back nine when Brooks got into the crap that Fleetwood dropped to the favorite. Then all of a sudden he was paying 16 to 1 on a payout. I was like,
And
well,
then-
I can hedge Brooks, I can hedge DJ, or I'll just take this money. So I took the money.
Brooks is
and then
set-
let the
yeah.
other stuff ride. I shouldn't have let the other stuff ride. I should have hedged the other stuff.
And Brooks putted on the weekend like DJ putted on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really it. Okay.
So, Millionaire Maker stuff. DraftKings this week, I got some impressive screenshots. So, first of all, shout out to Brandon. He tied for first in the Millionaire Maker. Same lineup, dupe lineup. Still won $545,000
Oh, that'll do.
at Fantasy Sports Geek on Twitter. So,
Yes.
shout out to him. I hope to have him on soon so we can talk about how he ended up at the very top. But it wasn't just that. Fourth place in the Millionaire Maker, viewer of the show. These are Fantasy National members, viewers of the show. Adam Taylor, congratulations, fourth place. Still a nice payday. Griff DFS came second and sixth in the Thunderdome, won $83,000, a profit of $78,000. James Dankle is in Ibiza right now, and he shot me a message. He won the $3 and won $10K, and that lineup would have tied for first in the Millionaire Maker. He still won the $10K, so that's pretty good.
Okay, it's great. It's great seeing those so many fans of the show just crushing it.
Oh, I got this mixed up. Griff just won $83,000. It was at A Steeler 84 who came second and sixth in the Thunderdome and won over $200,000. That's where I got the mistake. So congratulations to all those guys. And if you want to win the Millionaire Maker, and Jeff, you can even get into this too. Here's what I'm going to do. British Open Millionaire Maker is already posted, so I can start giving away some DK bucks here already. So here's what you do. In the comment section for this show, whether you're watching on the video version, you have to give the episode a like. Doesn't happen if you don't give the episode a like, or if you're listening to this on the audio version, leave an iTunes review, subscribe to the audio podcast. Hell, just do it twice. Do the video version, do the audio version, boom, double the chances to get in. But here's what you do. You leave your DraftKings name in the comment section and give me your 2 favorite plays this week that are 30 to 1 and beyond. 30 to 1 and beyond with your DK name and the like, and boom, you're in the draw. I'll be giving away some winners this week. I'll have another giveaway for the DraftKings show tomorrow, then the live chat at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday with Reed Fowler. And then later in the week, you'll get some DK bucks if you're chosen to be one of the few winners. Maybe I'll draw 4, maybe I'll draw 5. I'll see how many they let me do, all right? All right, let's get into this. U.S. Open recap.
I got to get my notes.
Brooks was nails. And he had a chance to blow it on 10, 11. Which one did he miss the really short birdie putt? Was that 12? Because that's...
There were a couple. There was a birdie putt, I think, on 7.
Yeah, but I don't care about that. We got into the spot where he hit it long on 11 and got into that crap.
And then got into the bunker.
And then got up and down for bogey. And I was like, that was the tournament right there.
That was the
That's
tournament.
when I was watching. I was like, he's going to win this.
Yeah.
And then I was too goofy to
And then
sitting there like, and I didn't do anything
It
about
kind
it.
of really felt over when he stuck it on 16 too, because the possibility of dropping one on 17
Yeah.
or 18. But yeah, there were no, Pat, there were 2 par putts, because there was the bogey putt on 11 for everything.
Was it
But
10 then? He made like the 17-footer?
No, I think that was after the double. Sorry, that was after the bogey where he hit into the stuff, had to chop out,
That's
and then
right.
got out. So that was the par putt and the bogey putt were insane. And I'll even say this, I'll take it back a step. On Saturday, Brooks was freaking insane, Pat. He made 2 bogeys late in his round on Saturday, which were ridiculous bogeys in the sense he should have been 8 feet for the pin for birdie. It rolled into a bunker, he made bogey. And then he 3-putted, getting a little too aggressive. He was just incredible.
I am stunned you made notes. That blows my mind. I've never seen you with notes.
Usually
before.
I just scribble them on the back of the page.
Yeah, well,
like
we're
while I'm
talking,
sitting
but
here.
you did some preparation.
No,
for this.
these are very basic notes. A couple cheesy one-liners I didn't want to forget. And again, full credit to our boy Russell, NYC punter. An amazing, like, he hammered the shit out of it.
Yeah, he got it at 45, 40, 30.
And
he just kept playing it.
And he just kept calling it. And if you, like, he kept stressing it and calling it and calling it and calling it and trying to reinforce it. And it was really funny. Like, people were even, like, getting into, like, fans of all of ours were getting into this own thing, like, comparing it to Willett. Like, firstly,
we had lots of guys that week.
yeah,
Punter head Brooks.
yeah, no, and it's kind of like Brooks was defending U.S. Open champion. There are similarities and differences. I mean, maybe when we first started touting Willett, no one had ever heard of him before. Some people had, maybe some hadn't. But here's the truth of the matter. In terms of how we banged the drum for like 2 months, that's what Punter did. He hammered the table through Twitter. I don't know if you heard him or not, but you know, he couldn't have screamed it any louder. And much kind of like Willett to a different extent, the number went off at half of what it was when he told you to do it.
Just like Brooks.
And that's sort of my point. And granted, it's so hard to win. Anyone that does this game hard enough, you almost half win, in my opinion, when you tell me to do something and it goes off at half the number. Like, that's almost a mini win, like, before the tournament starts.
No, it's not, but...
I'm just saying...
That happens to me all the time. I have nothing to show for it.
No, but I'm saying, like, your tout. Because it's hard to, like, the books, you know? They try to be sharp and they try to get you, and they're...
And you try to get a good number, and that's all you can really do.
And there are spots. And anyone asking to see his betting slip can F off. Because it's big. You don't have to post that stuff. You don't have to post, like, after the fact. Especially when you hammer the table for 2 months.
I mean, I get it with some people. Like, if I win big on DraftKings,
that's different.
It benefits me to show that off because this is what I do. He doesn't do this. Just a guy. It's just a... Russell's just a guy on Twitter.
And it was
What
funny,
does he
like...
care?
And last night it was funny, like, Russell's, like... He's one of the few, few people. I've never met him, but I consider him a friend. We've interacted, like, enough.
He sent my wife and I a very nice wedding gift.
Yeah.
So shout out to that.
Yeah, and we've spoken off the air. We've spoken on phone, like, for many years. Like, he's one of the first guys I remember sort of supporting what we were doing here. And it was incredible. And it was also funny last night seeing him kind of, like, get angry. And I guess you could see things, like, through any lens you want. People were thinking Brooks could win this thing on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
He seemed to think, like any hate that Brooks was getting Sunday morning, I'm not buying. People saw Brooks, like, if you watched how Brooks played Saturday, like, I did a Periscope Saturday night drunk from a party. If, like, he was the guy.
How did that go? I didn't see it. I don't know. Were you all fired up?
Kind of, because fired up from the day.
Well, we got to get.
But again,
we got to get into. We've only talked about Brooks so far.
We've talked about Brooks and Russell.
Yeah, and we talked about Fleetwood a little bit. Wish he would have made his putt. He didn't, but he was lights out, and he has had a bad stretch from 7 to 13 on Saturday. That's where he made all of his bogeys.
Made that triple.
And then that's what did him in. Although he wouldn't have got the good tee time. Although I still would have preferred him be like +4 going into Sunday and not +9. This is where we ended up. Finau has a shocking majors record now. I think it's 5 of 9 cuts, but every time he's made the cut, he's come inside like the top 20.
Do you know in 11 major appearances, Brooks' worst finish is like 21st or something?
I think it's his past 11 majors. His worst finish is T21.
Ridiculous.
I think that's what it ended up being. Oh, someone's calling me. Perfect. Declined. So Finau is like learns how to putt for these majors, which is kind of crazy. And
remember?
Well, I tweeted it out. He fell victim to your analysis. He made that really long putt to save himself, and then the next hole he misses a 2-footer because that's what Tony Finau does. But I don't know how Bell Reeve's gonna play, and maybe Carnousky's a place to look at him too because like that's with Patty and Sergio the last time. I'm gonna try to get Coley on to break down the course for the Open Championship as we get close to it. But it just seems like ball strikers bad putters. Like those are the guys that can play really well at Carnoustie. And it seems like the harder the conditions, Finau actually plays really well. I
say this about Finau regularly, even though I get stuck into the other part of it, is I so much prefer, even though he hasn't had a PGA like real breakthrough win, I'll go to the table with Finau in full fields at big numbers so much harder than, you know, him in those jobber fields going off at like 24 or 28. Sure. Because to me, his ceiling, like, I believe in his ceiling and his ability when it's going to click to do that. And I'll joke and people can laugh. I kind of feel the same way about Luke List. I don't think his ceiling is as high, but I'm much happier playing Luke List at that like 80, 100, and full fields. Because when he has that hot putting week, I think he can go with those other guys instead of those jobber fields where no one's there. It's like, oh, Luke List like 26-1. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and the big thing too with someone like Luke List and Finau, like most of the money I've won with Finau this year was at Riviera, and it wasn't from him winning because he didn't win, but he hit that each way at like 70-1. 70-1, so the each way was like 17-1 or whatever it was. But like it's hard to play him on it each way when he's 20-1. Put it that way. The amount of money that you would have to spend to do that. When he's at 70, it's a bit more acceptable. And then you can get some of those upside numbers with him. Ken? I'd like to bring something up. And people
Okay.
have been jumping into my DMs, more than one person, with claims of stuff that I don't want to like.
But by the way, when I mentioned this on the St. Jude show 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or whenever Brooks and Ricky last played together, when I said that Brooks is way better than Ricky, can you finally agree with me?
Yeah. He's got 2 majors and 24-inch pythons. Ricky's pretty. He'll get there. Belle Reeve.
Who's sliding into your DMs?
Okay. Because, I don't know, I was like tilted a bit on Saturday and then
Really?
people making some... Anyways, something that I really paid close attention to based on some things I was told, which I won't say on here, but maybe you can connect your own dots. The relationship between Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson is cold as ice.
I don't think so.
I don't know, man. Did you see it did not seem very friendly out there at all.
Yeah, but after seeing them the moment they walked off the course, it seemed very friendly. I think they're just 2 guys who want to win when they're out there. I think once they're off, they're pals. They worked out together before the fucking round.
Interesting. I don't know.
They had to go get a lift in.
Seemed rather icy.
Yeah, but it's like when everyone said that Tiger had no friends on tour. Maybe he didn't, because every time he was out there, he wanted to kill you. Off of it, he seemed to be a fairly pleasant guy. Friends with like Marco O'Mara and Mike Weir.
Well, those were his like
pals, but sure. But it seems like no one seems to have like a bad word really to say about Dustin, unless he's like slamming someone's wife.
No one. Well, there it is. Anyways, so how do we handle Saturday?
Okay, I will say that I have come out of the U.S. Open. I don't want to say I'm a Phil fan now, but I like Phil a lot more. A lot more. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Why?
Because I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious in the sense of making him look like a moron.
No, I think Phil's going to get more fans out of this.
So why wouldn't he get more? So is insider trading and FBI investigations get him more fans?
Maybe. We'll see. I just thought it was funny. And he just went out of his way. He's just like, I don't want to walk down this hill. I might take a 3 from down there. I'll just hit it now. And he knew he was Phil, and he knew he wouldn't get DQ'd. So why not do it? Why not?
He should have been DQ'd.
Maybe he should have, but he wasn't.
Because even in
he knew he wouldn't be. He's Phil.
Who'd have thought, Pat, that in 2018, Phil's worst look wouldn't be the button-up shirt?
I'd say I don't even think that. The people who were the most upset are your classic stuffy golf people, and they can go fuck themselves.
I'm upset.
Why? Who do you care?
I think he should be disqualified.
Well, he wasn't.
Because he intentionally cheated.
Deal with it.
People making the claim that it's like, stealing signs in baseball or your offensive lineman holding. Like, couldn't disagree with that anymore.
No, Phil knows he can get away with it, so why not get away with it?
I wish he was not playing with Beef.
He still beat Beef.
I gave him credit for that. I'll own giving him credit for that. I'm more proud of Phil's accomplishments at Erin Hills. I thought he gave a better effort at Erin Hills.
I'm just glad he lost to Casey in the full field tournament. So I was kind of hoping he would get DQ'd so I could get my money right away. But, I have no problem with it. I thought it was funny.
He'll never win the U.S. Open.
I don't think he's going to be 49 next time he plays. He's probably not going to win the U.S. Open. I enjoyed it on Sunday when he gave, the Masters, pump after he made the putt on the hole the next day. I thought that was funny.
I didn't see that.
And I'm generally the biggest Phil hater, but, get over yourself, people.
He should have been disqualified.
Who cares? Who cares?
Why wouldn't I care?
Why do you care so much?
Because he just should have been
It's
disqualified.
a guy who's 20 shots off the lead. The USGA wants him there. They still want people to watch the U.S. Open. You get send Phil and Ricky out early.
And the comparisons to Tiger's incident at the Masters a few weeks ago don't even compare.
I don't think that they compare.
Because
no.
Tiger, yes, he signed a wrong scorecard, but he didn't sign it knowingly. Phil knowingly cheated.
Yeah, and didn't get disqualified because he's Phil. He knew it.
Well, yeah, he's got those boys caged, and he's got the key.
So why not use it? Why have the key if you're not going to use it? Open the lock. Lock the door on people.
Yeah.
There was a lot of A lot of people coming down from Mount Pius, especially the old golf writers and just people on the internet. Just get over it. Who cares? It's not like he was in the lead. 20 shots off the pace.
He wouldn't have the balls to do that in his cash game.
He probably does it in his cash game all the time.
Not a chance.
How do you know? Maybe it's like a Phil rule.
He's lucky he was playing with beef.
Lucky he was playing with beef. Lucky it was his birthday. Lucky the crowd was all over it. Like, they still loved Phil. They hated Ian Poulter. They were giving Ian Poulter a real rough time. I felt bad because I like Ian Poulter.
I really like Ian Poulter. And I wish Phil was playing with Ian Poulter when he pulled that stunt. Wouldn't have gone all giggly.
No. I can't imagine that would have
It wouldn't have been a shits and giggles. Like, Beef is just like happy to be there with Phil. Like, whatever. I don't know. The whole thing was an embarrassment.
I thought it was good for social media, good for people tuning in and talking about the U.S. Open. They probably just coordinated with Phil and told him to do it.
Like, you've watched a lot of golf.
Yeah.
You've never seen that.
No.
Ever.
No. It's pretty savvy. I'm not going to lie to you. If you think you're going to take a 3 from down there, why wouldn't you just hit it close to the hole and just take a 2? Why wouldn't you? If no one's going to stop you from doing it, and they didn't, why not? Save yourself a shot. Please tell me why. I'm waiting. Why wouldn't you?
Because it's one thing if you end up breaking the rules in golf.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to break them intentionally and then admit to have broken them intentionally.
That's actually what made it funnier. That he knew what he was doing the entire
That's
time.
my point. That's what that's like, oh, this wasn't like...
That's when I swung around on it when he was like, yeah, that's what I did.
That's what I did. That's what I did. Like, I knew exactly what I was doing. Like...
But all this talk about, like, it just even, like, I saw some stuff on, like, Golf Digest. Disgrace to the game. How dare he sully the U.S. It was basically like Cust was writing.
I just
like,
thought...
just fucking get over
whatever.
it. Go on with your day.
I just thought he 100% should have been disqualified or withdrawn himself.
But the rule says. I got a lot of that stuff going on.
Someone's calling me. Too.
I know. I've been getting a lot of, like, auto calls lately. Somehow my number made a list. I don't know how that happened. But they keep asking me if I want my gutters cleaned out or like my vents chipped. I have neither. I live in a condo building. So anyway, Poulter, Phil, any final thoughts? Oh, this is what I did want to mention. The 18th hole cost me a lot of fucking money this week. A lot.
Oh, fine. Okay.
So Patrick Reed on 18 yesterday.
Shame.
He was one of the guys, and I tweeted this one out. I got him at 170. After all the carnage had happened, the books had caught up to Finau and Berger, who had posted the number, but Reed had posted at +6, and the books hadn't caught up to him yet. So he was just at +6 in the clubhouse, listed at 170 to 1. So I played the outright and the each way with him, but the each way was to the top 3. So all of a sudden, if he makes his par putt from a foot away on 18, he cashes that each way. So he misses it. And then all of a sudden, I was like, all right, so what needs to happen now? Finau and Dustin Johnson need to come back and tie him at the 3, at least for a split of it. And Finau's like off and God knows where off 18. It's like, he's definitely going to bogey and come back. And then Dustin makes birdie to go from 4 to 3 and pass him. You need to make par, and it would have been fine. So that sucked. Russell Knox missed like a 4-foot putt on 18 to fucking miss the top 10, which was like 18 to 1. It's a very disappointing 18th hole for me. Nelson Adcock was another one. The guy who runs Cut Sweats cashed in on the Sunday Showdown slate on DraftKings on Sunday because I think Hatton made the birdie on 18 and Finau blew up on 18. That swing got him into, I think it was a 5-figure payday when all was said and done. Very nice. Anyway, the 18th hole frustrated me very much.
I might be in the minority here. That course played way too easy on Sunday.
I loved it on Sunday. I thought it was awesome on Sunday. Guys could make a charge. It wasn't entirely difficult, but it was hard enough. Like, what did Brooks shoot? -2?
I didn't
to win?
think,
Justin shot even? Like, guys stuck
Saturday,
around.
they went too far. Sunday, they went too far in both directions. And maybe it's me nitpicking. I thought that course played too easy on Sunday.
Listen,
very rarely
the
did
the USGA does all this stuff, whether it's too hard, whether it's unfair, whether it's too easy. People are just going to fucking complain. That's all people do is just fucking complain all the time. That's all they want to do. So the more they complain, the more people are talking about it. Who cares?
I'll say this, though. I wanted it a little more slippery and gippery on Sunday.
They couldn't do that on Sunday, though.
Because they went too far on Saturday. Should have been a little more slippery. Not to the extent of Saturday, but no one really caught a tail on Sunday, and that really bothered me. I didn't see many missed putts catch tails.
You know what? It's not like the course played super easy on Sunday.
Agreed. You said, like, the guy still won one under. It's not like...
And it's not like there weren't scores out there that were +10 and +9. Those were there.
They were there.
Ask Justin Rose how easy it was on Sunday.
That's Byung Hun An.
Yeah, poor Byung Hun An.
I'll say this, though. I was hard because when we did our Cut Sweat show Friday, I thought Fox was deplorable. Yeah, like in terms of time of coverage, going off early, that was great. But when we were here doing that show, it felt like 4 shots, a lot of
It was
BS.
bad on Friday.
It was bad.
It was bad.
I thought the weekend was fantastic.
Sunday especially was
not
very
even
good.
just the free hour at the end of commercials. I'm talking about really the entire weekend broadcast of Fox. I thought was great.
I didn't like No Tommy on Saturday until they started making bogeys. That was no good. But at least on Sunday, they gave us a scope of like, hey, Tommy's making a charge. Hey, Webb Simpson's making a charge. Hey, Matthew Fitzpatrick is making a charge. And we got to see that happen. Now, sometimes it took them like a hole to catch up to them. And if you were watching the internet stream, you were like 20 minutes ahead. Or if you just had the app, you knew what happened. But if you were just watching the main feed, they did a good job of actually showing people. And like the PGA has to step in at some point and be like, look, we need people to know who Tommy Fleetwood is. We need people to know who Matthew Fitzpatrick is. And
I don't think they step in.
And Tony, they have to. If you can't just show 3 guys. Like what we got on Friday was an atrocity.
I agree.
I mean, that's probably, atrocity is a strong word for something that happens in golf. It was shitty. And you do no good trying to build the game when the only people you show are Jordan, Phil, and Rory, like, not playing well. Super. You have to mix in. People are actually sitting down to watch that instead of watching Phil line up a putt for 16 minutes, cut away to 3 other guys, maybe some up-and-comers. At least get their names out there that you could potentially pick them out of a lineup.
Or even, like, double box. Like, you want to watch
big on the double box.
Here we can quickly show you Buddy hitting a 14-foot birdie putt while we're watching Phil still or something. You can double box the shit out of it.
The one good thing, too, about Fox on Sunday, that when they cut to someone, except for when they cut to Hatton, because every time they cut to Hatton, he made a putt that went in from, like, some crazy spot. But, like, it's no fun to, like, oh, let's cut to Charles Howell III. It's like, yeah, he's definitely making this.
I know.
Why else are we showing him?
Yeah. No, but they were giving you, like, Fitzpatrick misses when you might have gone to it thinking
that's what I'm saying. On Sunday, they did a good job of this stuff.
Yeah. No, I stated it. I'm very much criticized Thursday, Friday. And, like, the defense for it being good was the length, and I get that. Like, more, like, what they did is better than Golf Central, like, you know, what the shit we'll have to deal with this week and most weeks. But they really did a great job on the weekend. And Tim would probably have been happy because I thought they underutilized technology. I feel like in years past we got more... Even like green slow, well, a lot of stuff.
They turned down the volume of the cup mics at one point.
Yeah, well, my like 75-year-old dad's getting annoyed asking me questions about it.
The one good thing about the cup mics is they were picking up Dustin Johnson being like, "This is fucking ridiculous."
That was if I hit it any fucking harder, it's gonna go down the hill. Dustin on Saturday. Rose on Saturday sticking in it, not hitting a green was impressive, but he finally imploded.
I need to give ourselves a Barry Horowitz here, a nice little pat on the back. Not because we were like right about stuff. We were definitely not right about a lot of things.
We both said John Rahm.
Yeah, who was going to win. Yeah. Plus 15, way to go. But on Friday during the Cut Sweat show, and thanks to everyone who tuned into that, by the way, we had a lot of fun sitting here watching the golf and just shooting the shit. It was a good time. And I think people who watch it, it's not because people were like watching it after the fact, like, this is stupid. Like, well, it's a live show about stuff that's happening live. Like, I don't know why anyone would try to watch it after.
It would be incredibly boring to watch after.
Either way, what we said on that show after Tim was proclaiming it over Dustin Johnson was like, I looked at the numbers, and Dustin Johnson was first in short game, first in putting by a pretty substantial margin. All I said was, if this just goes back to normal, or even swings back the other way, he could be in a lot of trouble. And what happened? He stopped making putts.
Sunday,
Because it's hard to be that good at putting for an extended period of time. And Brooks was poor at putting the first 2 days, and he got real hot on the greens.
Yeah.
And that was the difference. Because Dustin was not missing a putt. He couldn't if he had just putted field average on the weekend, he would have won by 3. Because it's not like he was playing poorly. He was still hitting every fairway.
Yeah, no, and to your point, I think a lot of what we said was very possible to happen played out exactly as it did. And we got I loved the weekend. Saturday was maybe one of my favorite days of golf in a really long time.
See, I really enjoyed Sunday.
Oh, I liked them both, but Sunday's supposed to be like special. Saturday to me had an extra kick in it.
Right, I want to let everyone know the Pat Mayo experience is brought to you by Jägermeister. Give your beer a shot this summer. It's an ice cold shot. Jägermeister. Get it in you, some Jäger. Were you drinking Jäger on Saturday night or just VOD?
Crown and Coke.
Crown and Coke.
I was going early. Saturday I was drinking early and then was drinking late. It was yeah. For me it was hard. I don't really drink like that much. Major championship golf and Charger playoff games are very similar. And I would say know that for a fact because the shambles I was in after Nate Kading could probably only be compared to the position I was found in after Chambers Bay. Yeah.
Right.
So that was a half hour.
Yeah. So if you were just tuning in to the Travelers Championship picks, preview, and one and dones, hey, hello, welcome. We're getting into the Travelers right now. Do you have more to say about the U.S. Open? Because I've already moved on to the Travelers. It's done.
I hope Punter goes back to his Bill Murray avatar sooner than later.
Yeah, I can never figure out who he is now. Anyway.
Because that's him to me.
We got to get on to the Travelers. We're over a half hour into the show.
Let's dig in.
Favorites at the top. Actually, let's talk about the course. TPC River Highlands, one of the shortest courses on tour. It's a Pete Dye design. 6,841 yards par 70. Jordan Spieth is the defending champion. Fun note about this course, tee to green players tend to do very well here. It was renovated 2 years ago. POA greens were put in over the bent grass greens. There's still a mix of bent in there, but more POA is the predominant grass type that's on it, and it played fast. The greens played fast for the first time ever last season. Generally, they were some of the slowest greens on tour, which is why when you go back and look through the list of previous champions, you see a lot of different skill sets that can win because it is a shorter course. You have your Bubbas, you have your Leishmans, you have your Ken Dukes, your Hunter Mayhans. Good ball strikers, tee to green, not the best putters. You might need to be a little bit better of a putter this time around if you're going to claim the championship. But 8 par 4s measure between 400 and 450 yards. It's a lot. Guys are going to be able to club down off the tee. They're going to be able to get to their spots, whether if Bubba wants to hit it from 125, he can hit it from 125. If Wes Bryant wants to hit it from 175 or 150, he can hit it from there. He might be in the woods because he's Wes Bryant. But no matter what the skill set, the Bombers will be able to club down here and vastly improve their accuracy. The driving accuracy at this course is just around 67%. Regular tour average, 61%. And that has a lot to do with the Bombers being able to club down. So what are your initial impressions of the course?
My initial impressions are you look at the last couple guys to win it. We have a Bubba Watson, the epitome of the bomb and gouge kind of, and we have Russell Knox and Jordan Spieth, the sort of complete opposite of that. So to your point, guys can play it from where they want and they can win doing that. To confirm, this is where Spieth bunkered out on Berger.
Bunkered out. It's in my column. My column's
Wasn't
up on...
Tim angry about that bunker, the rake toss?
Yeah, he threw the club because he was fired up.
And Greller launched the rake?
Yeah.
That was a great...
When you chip in to win in a playoff out of the sand.
And Berger almost holed out from a crazy line off the side.
Yeah, he almost made the long one in. But yeah, we had that. Trying to think. We hit Russell Knox the year before. We hit Bubba Watson.
I didn't have Spieth last year, but yeah.
I didn't have Spieth last year either. Knox was very good to us. I think that was a 45-1 cash. He was the best at the par 4 range that week coming in. This is one of the great things about fantasynational.com right now. If you're a member, and a lot of people are just, they still have their membership. They bought the weekly after the U.S. Open. If you're a member right now and you go to the drop-down screen at the top, you can actually go to something called the Time Machine, where you can go back to this point at last year's tournament lead-in from 2017, 2016, 2015, and 2014 and look and see how the players were playing coming in. And I actually found something cool with this when I went back and looked. I looked at the top 10 in strokes gained ball striking over the past 50 rounds from the past 3 years, and they're leaded. And I wrote this up in my column as well. Only 3 guys of those 30 missed the cut. One of them was Justin Thomas last year. 2 winners were in there, 2 second-place finishes, and 18 top 25s of the 30. I think that's a stat you might want to look at this week. If people are wondering, strokes gained ball striking over the past 50 rounds coming in the top 10 this year, JT, Paul Casey, Keegan Bradley, the guy who fucked me this weekend, Luke List, Bryson, Spieth, Griot, Cantlay, Ryan Moore, and Brendan Steele are your top 10. The guys just on the outside: Streelman, Sink, Hadley, Garrigus, Bubba Watson, McIlroy, Spawn, Zanda, JB Holmes, who I kind of like this week, and Ryan Palmer.
Well, when I first saw the sheet, I mumbled to myself, staring at Keegan Bradley, that I assume you're going to bet him.
I don't know yet. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to release, again, if you're looking for the finalized picks, Wednesday afternoon, my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme. We'll have my final bets, and I'll be talking about first-round leaders, stuff like that, on the live chat on Wednesday at 1:30 on the DraftKings YouTube page. But all this stuff you can find right now on fantasynational.com. It's a great time to dig into all the different tools before the Open Championship. Might be giving away a free yearly membership, again, before the Open Championship. So if you're a weekly member now, members can still win that yearly prize. So if you're going week to week, dig in, figure it out, because a lot of members had really good weeks and won a lot of money. Not me, but others. Yeah, it's nice when others can win. I can't hog all the money to myself.
And this seems like the strongest non-big event, kind of like Houston, this field, these names.
Yeah, and I think it clearly has to do with the U.S. Open being in Long Island, this tournament being in Hartford. Say, hey, let's grab a train and go play the Travelers. We have to check this one off the box anyway. We have to play it once every 4 years. Might as well do it while we don't have to fly anywhere else.
Great point.
Let's just knock it out. But this field is stacked. Like, it's unreal. Here's the field right here in the odds. So we got Brooks coming off the win, Rory, Justin Thomas, and Jordan Spieth all 12-1. Then we have Patrick Reed at 16, Jason Day, Paul Casey at 18, Bryson, Webb at 25, Leishman, Bubba at 28. That is your sub 30-1 area. And like I mentioned before, if you want to get in the draw for some DK bucks for the Open Championship Millie Maker, go to the comment section after giving the episode a like, leave your DK name and the 2 people above. So none of those guys, anyone else above 30-1 that you think are going to win the Travelers Championship. I don't have any hot takes from here. My favorite guy of the bunch is Paul Casey.
Yeah, I guess based on having the biggest number and being second on the stat list you just rang out, it's kind of, you would think, just to the naked eye, Jason Day would be shorter priced than Paul Casey, just based on market name value and respect for winning.
Yeah, but do you know what didn't happen to Jason Day last week?
Oh, he didn't get up and down from everywhere and he exploded because of it?
He didn't make every 12-foot putt. No, he didn't win last week, so therefore he can't be 12-1.
It is true. As you always point out, Day falls under 2 categories. Perpetually disrespected unless the week of a major or the week after he wins.
Yeah.
Then he's like great again. But no, you're right. And some people can look at that day number and like it. I'm not really running to bet any of these guys. For starters, do I really see Paul Casey dropping below 18-1?
No.
I think so. You can let that marinate for a couple days potentially.
It just seems strange with 4 guys at 12-1. I mean, we have to, like, Brooks might pull out of this. I would if I was him, but.
Yeah. You'd think he might, because he should probably be doing, like the Good Morning America circuit till about Wednesday this week.
Yeah, but the U.S. Open doesn't have that kind of cachet. That's reserved.
No, it does.
No, it doesn't. No, that's reserved for the Masters champion.
No,
Mainstream doesn't care that much about the
he'll
US
be
Open
at the
winner.
top of the Empire State Building.
Sure, he'll do that stuff. It's not the same as winning the Masters. You show up with a green jacket, you're on everything.
Sure, I get it, but still, Brooks, there's a victory lap to be had. And I'll just say this quickly. Nothing that happened this week will stop me from going back to the well at a diabolical course with John Rahm in the future. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, listen, Karnowski could be well on his way. We'll see. Two notes before we start. Louis Oosthuizen has withdrew 35-1, and Andrew Putnam, who I actually kind of liked at 90-1, has withdrawn.
Both guys I kind of like, because staring at the form, Louis a 5th, a 13th, a 16th, sneaky Been hitting a lot of greens and rag. I mean...
But he's not playing, so don't bet him.
And it's a tournament in North America, so he probably just saved me a few bucks.
Yep.
So I guess I'll appreciate that that WD. Yeah, nothing really ready to jump out at me under 30-1 that I'm looking to bet. I have made a couple bets, and they're farther back, and I'm not really tempted to do anything here, Pat. Rory McIlroy, though, an interesting... I guess for a second, when breaking this down... And I sort of joked with you off air, and, you know, this is me with my stupid, like, degree in psychology from the University of Western, trying to, like, overthink things.
Did you take psychology because it was more multiple choice tests and exams?
Yes.
That's why I always did psychology electives, because it was like, oh, multiple choice.
I didn't really know what to do, and I was there. What's funny is they, like... Western follows me on
yeah, they want what they want. They want some alumni money, pal. That's the only.
I assure you,
I get the call from St. Mary's all the time. It's being like, Mr. Mayo, would you like to give us money? It's like, fuck off.
I assure you, they weren't. I was not a student to be honored.
They're not trying to honor you. They're trying to get you to give them money.
Fair.
They thought, hey, look at his grades. He might give us some money.
So this is just me trying to play amateur psychologist with no real basis on. Do you think guys that had to play that diabolical weekend and the mental grind of it are better off or maybe a little exhausted, and guys that kind of got blown out of there, like Rory, like Spieth, like some other guys I'm sure we'll get to, maybe can come in, I don't know, better for not having played the weekend. I mean, their pocketbooks aren't better for it, but better for it for the Thursday through Sunday of this week.
I mean, there's no way to know. You can never know these things.
The other part of it...
But I know that Matt Jones on Twitter, released a big thing where guys that missed the cut or finished way back on the weekend of the U.S. Open tend to do much better at the Travelers. They tend to, but I mean, that could... Jordan Spieth came 35th last year at the U.S. Open, then won this.
But Jordan Spieth never was in like a mental
No, he was the guy who went out. He had the Fowler. He had the Fowler round from this year. It's just like, hey, you're the first second group
and
out
then
on Sunday.
You finished 21st in the end, and we'll look at I finished 21st at that U.S. Open.
And even Casey was never really sniffed around the lead, but he ended up coming T16.
Yeah.
He had a good for his first week back from injury. It's pretty good.
Now, the other part about it is maybe having had to deal with what they dealt with at the U.S. Open and on those Saturday and weekend conditions. It's like playing one-on-one versus Shaq, and now they're playing one-on-one versus like their 3-year-old. Like the hole might actually feel bigger, like just in comparison to what they dealt with. So I don't know. I overthink everything.
And this is,
I overthink everything.
Yeah, that seems like a bit much. But this is that you're going to get a similar putting surface from the U.S. Open to this week. So that's something to note. That's not a usual occurrence because this just switched over to POA. And I guess maybe some of the former U.S. Opens were bent, but it's in the same part of the country. It's not a long flight. You're going to deal with similar conditions, you would think. Just this is a much easier. You need to make birdies at this course, by the way. It generates top 10 in terms of birdies of any course on the year, despite the fact that it always plays like just in the upper half of like just above average in difficulty.
What's our winning score then?
I tweeted this out earlier. Kenny Perry won it 22 under one year, but it's usually like 14, 12. Trying to remember. 14, 12, 13, 10 maybe. I'll pull up the actual numbers here in just 1 second. But we have, let's see. Let's scroll down. Let's see. Winning numbers. Spieth, minus 12 in a playoff. Knox, minus 14. Bubba, minus 16 in a playoff. Streelman, minus 15. The Duke, minus 12 in a playoff. Leishman, minus 14. Freddie Yaks, 20 under. Bubba, 14 under. Kenny Perry, 22 under. Sink, 18 under. Hunter Mahan, 15 under. Got to score, but it's not easy. And if you can score on the par fours, you run away with this championship.
Be interesting to make of Rory at this moment. Just is such a close call at the mate. Like
he's tough to figure out, man. Like he just did not have it going on, and he couldn't make a putt. It was a lot like Day. Like clearly their games weren't there in any facet. But the fact that they couldn't even cover, like they were bad putters.
It's funny because I would think of all like the really upper echelon elite players, no one, for two different reasons, has had probably a more frustrating major season than Rory.
Well, he kind of gagged it away Sunday at the Masters, then was awful.
And he was kind of in position this week. I mean, his form going into both of them seemed pretty strong. Yeah. He lost to Francesco at the BMW.
He's having a good year overall.
And again, So
I don't have any particular hot takes. I mean, I could see this being the tournament where Spieth just gets it back together. Couldn't you? Coming off a missed cut. He was getting the putter going at the end of the second round. I know he missed the putt to miss the cut. He putted himself back into it.
He seems to be railing about his alignment. And that, yes, to like, is it going to click? But that seems to be one thing, his alignment on the green. That's to what we've kind of been saying. One like thing just happening and clicking, and it's all back to normal. I'm not ready to go to the well.
No, I'm not going to the well either. But of the like top end guys, all the 12-to-1s. I think Spieth has the best chance to win.
Fair. If I'm picking one of these 4 guys who they've said are all tied at the top, I would probably pick Spieth. But I'm not about to bet on him.
So of the plus 30-to-1 guys, let's say 30-to-1 to 60-to-1, I only have one bet in there so far. Patrick Cantlay, 40-to-1. Bet him with the each way.
Yeah, I guess if I thought he could win the U.S. Open, I got to go back here. It's not the absolute go zone that we've sort of joked about in the over 50.
I think for this tournament, like comparative odds to the rest of the players doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, why is he the same price as Charlie Hoffman?
Why is he the same price as Daniel Berger?
Yeah, why is Ryan? I mean, I know why Ryan Moore is 33-to-1. I actually kind of like Ryan Moore this week. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger at 33. I might. We'll see. But like,
no, I'm with you.
It seems strange.
Just to kind of your point, think about, I know this might be a very simplistic way, but of every guy he's tied at 40-to-1 with, Berger, Cantlay, Xander, Hoffman, what were all those guys' odds last week? Cantlay was like 60-66. All those guys were double that.
Yeah.
And now they're
And Cantlay made the cut. He didn't do anything, but
I had a DraftKings lineup on Saturday that had 6 for 6 guys that might have played 35 over par.
You lost points with it?
It was 6 guys.
Was Ben Ann on the team? Because I actually had some like nice. I had very few 6 of 6s, but all of them had Ben Ann on it. And then I had a couple like 5 of 6s that were like DJ and Rose and Fleetwood and Casey. I didn't have any Stenson, but Casey. And then like On was the other guy. It's like, oh, he's 20 over. Sick. That's no fun. But he's the guy that kind of jumped out to me right away as being a value from down in this range. What about Bubba at 28?
This is when we talk about Bubba.
This is a Bubba track.
Bubba track.
He has 2 wins this year at Bubba tracks.
So right there, it's like you've got to let that marinate because just as we said, like U.S. Opens for obvious reasons because they're not Bubba tracks. He's got no comfort zone. He's Bubba. For the obvious reasons, he's Bubba. So, or if he's going somewhere for the first time, don't really want a part of it. But Bubba tracks are Bubba happy places. So I would say of under 30-to-1, him and Casey would be the only guys I would actually consider betting.
I would consider Bryson.
I completely forgot about him. He had a strong weekend too.
It's a Pete Dye track, man. He plays.
Ended up finishing 16th.
He's turning into the new Siwoo, by the way. Just these strategy courses where you have to lay up a little bit off the tee here. Anything you can really think about. Bryson's not bad.
And maybe this is a horrible take that someone can old take expose. I believe Bryson will win a Masters because the familiarity of a place that's the continuity of it and the science. I don't think he could ever win a U.S. Open because how could his math ever properly account for the ridiculousness of weekend U.S. Open greens when he's so like formulaic? Sure, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
I kind of get it. I don't agree, but I know what you're saying.
Like
I see I see where you're coming from with that narrative, but I think that Bryson's still able to adjust.
And he's amazing, and he is fantastic. But
yeah, he actually putted I think he was top 5 in putting for the week. So he figured out the greens.
And he finished 16th.
Yeah.
So
he had a good week.
Or 25th or 16th. I'm mixing that up with Casey.
DeChambeau 26th. No, sorry, 25th. T25. But there are 4 guys in this field who really stand out in terms of everything that you'd want, whether it be the ball striking, like top 20 in ball striking, off the tee approach, which
so Casey, Bryson,
and par 4 scoring. It's Casey, Bryson, Thomas, and Cantlay. Those are the 4 guys. And
Well, that just reinforces why we got to go to the window with Cantlay.
Yeah, listen, I'm already in on Cantlay, and I think that number gets worse. I think people will be on Cantlay here. The other guys who come close to that number, by the way, do you want to know who they are? Yeah, unless there's someone else you want to talk about here that's 70 to 1 or below.
I got no real interest. Kyle Stanley's par 4 scoring might make you
Kyle
want to have
Stanley's
a conversation because he plays the par 4 so well. Might make you want to work something out.
Knox has won this before, and I'm going to give him a harder look at 55. I like Knox, but again, that's where we're at with him. He did screw me on 18 because he can't putt. But hey, he was nails when he hit that putt to win this tournament on 18 to avoid the playoff 2 years ago. So maybe this is just a place that could be a little bit of a happy place for him.
What else has he done here?
Knox?
A little bit of a mixed bag.
Knox, 62
career-wise.
first, withdraw, 61st, 13th.
But to your point, he's on a nice little run of form. 16th, 20th, 44th, 12th.
Good Pete Dye player. Really good Pete Dye player. This Pete Dye course is slightly different than like your Heritage and your Players and things like that, but it still has a lot of the same core elements.
I'll say this. This is a double hard look, especially if the card could have an extra name, because when I'm not starting a bet till 40, there's a little extra in the bag maybe.
Now that we kind of talked it out a bit,
What, Bryson or Casey? Which one are you going to here?
I was going to say Bubba.
Oh.
Just screw it. He's 28 to 1. Like, why is he 28 to 1?
I'll tell you this.
Shouldn't he be like 16 to 1 in this field?
You are a Bubba whisperer.
That is
in
true.
my opinion.
I've won a lot of Bubba money.
And I've followed you on it. Riviera a couple weeks ago, you pounded the table on that. Travelers, when you hit it, it was a silly number. Or maybe it was the Riviera. You might have been on of Bubba's like last 4 career wins.
I had been on 3 of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I missed Riviera this year. Although I was like, should I bet Bubba at 50? I didn't do it. When I hit him at Riviera,
because you got tricked because of the bullshit All-Star game.
The All-Star game got me off of
him.
him.
And the Jay Leno's garage. And I might withdraw off the tee times because I'm making that All-Star game. So I'll almost give you an asterisk there. 3.5 out of 4. If Pat Mayo was betting Bubba Watson this week, you should bet Bubba Watson.
So that means people need to tune into the Wednesday live chat to see if I am going to bet Bubba Watson.
You are a Bubba whisperer.
We'll see. Wish I was a Keegan whisperer and didn't lose all my head-to-head bets with him.
Or a Luke List whisperer.
Wish I was. If I was a Luke List whisperer, I'd be so. You wouldn't see me here. I might just be a millionaire. I would have bought an island by now. So
great play this week.
Let's talk about long shots. I'll be betting Luke List. 80 to 1.
This 80 to 1 range has me really excited. I guess we can jump ahead. We both really like Grillo.
Yeah, Grillo 70 to 1. I'm in on with the each way. List 80 to 1.
Steele is worth a look.
I missed out on the Chess and Hadley 125.
100
it's
still get
down
it.
to 100 and I hit it.
Yeah.
And I hit Siwoo at 110. Those are my guys.
Hadley at 100. I'm in on Grillo at 70. I am in on.
Why is he down at 70?
I was jarring when I scrolled the board.
Why is Hadley? Why is he at 100? He was legit getting 40s in like the Memorial.
Both of them. Play them. And then List and Steele. Even Patrick Rogers may be worth something to stare at. I know you hate the guy.
I don't hate him, but you know who I mean, Keegan's right there at 75. He's a New Englander.
He is.
Local track. Has a very good course history here, too.
Never missed a cut. Could be a fantastic DraftKings play.
We'll see. He was not last week. So yeah, like I said, Siwoo 110. JB Holmes is the other one.
I might bet Keegan.
JB is erratic. The only putting surface over the past 2 years where he's gained strokes is POA. He was lights out tee to green at Fort Worth, or St. Jude. Like, he's just so erratic and all over the place, but at his peak, like, he's good at these club down courses. He can get to his spots and score on these par 4s. I think that, I don't know if I'm going to bet him or just play him heavily on DraftKings, but 75 to 1 is a good number on JB.
I will follow that up with staring at this range, Pat. Like, I could crush it because Henley at 75 to 1 seems pretty
What about Killa Keith? 125. Got a few weeks off now.
First round leader.
Yeah. Has he ever played?
Before we back up, any love for Henley?
I can never figure Henley out. Like, if it was up to me and you told me that I had to make a bet on one of these guys I have no clue on, I would rather bet Pat Perez at 125 than Henley at 75.
Get the fucking 125. Pat Perez is here.
He's been abysmal with his irons. Even last week, it was just short game.
He made the cut.
He did make the cut.
A lot
That's
of
true.
guys were big fans of didn't, so couldn't have been that bad. And at 125, I mean, he's got the same. Yeah. I don't know, though. Can Perez go from no form to a win?
Who knows? I'm gonna try this out here for you. See if you like it. One of the great things with Fantasy National. Shout out to Josh Culp for getting this done and really doing it. You can sort by architect on Fantasy National. So if you click the Pete Dye setting, you can see who plays the best of Pete Dye courses. It's like Webb, Siwoo, Rory, Bubba, Knox are all popular names that are up there. Anyone from like down this list that you like?
How far down? Because there are names that I think can potentially. Danny Lee?
Danny Lee was third here last year, I think. Course form, Danny Lee's not even on here. Yeah, third last year.
He's off 2 missed cuts, and he's a guy that usually plays.
He was 7th, 14th, miscut. So now like he's going to swing back around.
He can miss 4 more cuts.
That's true.
That's Danny.
So here are the top 10 players over the past 50 rounds on Pete Dye courses overall. Rory Day Spieth.
This field.
In this field. They're good players. Woo! Jim Furyk, Bubba, Casey, Knox, Koepka, Berger, Louis, who pulled out. Henley is the next on that list. He would be 10th in total strokes gained. Snedeker, Webb, Harmon, Cantlay, Leishman, JT, Bryson, Keegan, Bill Haas. Bill Haas is a good Pete Dye player. Don't overlook Bill Haas. I wonder if we shrink that down a bit and see what it does. Let's go past 24 rounds and see who pops up. Because I know that Rory's getting a lot of credit for Kiowa Island. I don't think this course really correlates to that. But anyone else from down there? You were talking to me about Michael Kim for some reason earlier?
That's personal.
You just like Michael Kim?
So I asked you, so just in that other annoying narrative I was bringing up before, the week off the major, your boy Kadira brought home the week off the Masters.
He made the cut at the Masters, too.
Got a big
I don't know if he's made a cut since.
Big number?
He's 175 to 1. I think if I was going to back one of the, I'm always backing
JJ Spawn?
Siwoo.
200?
Oh, well, yeah, I'll more than likely end up being on. CT Pan's 90. CT Pan comes in with some good form, man. 8th, 25th at this course, 18th, 20th, 32. His results the past 4 outings have got progressively better. 46th, 32nd, 20th, 18th.
Because it's customary. If this was like January, I'd have been all over Ollie.
Ollie's 175 to 1.
I know. So bad.
If I update this to the past 24 rounds, which kind of takes out some of those majors from the back end of Pete Dye, because he had Whistling Straits and Whistling Straits might be included for some of these guys because they all don't just go play the Heritage. The past 24 rounds on Pete Dye: Day, Woo, Jordan Spieth, Berger, Rory, Casey, Webb, Reed, Harmon, Brooks, Hadwin, Cantlay, Knox, Bryson, Kadira.
What about Harmon?
What about him? He made the cut. He jarred one in for Eagle, too. What happened to Jimmy Walker? I don't think I saw a single shot of him Saturday or something.
He made 2 eagles.
I saw those on Friday, and then I didn't see him again.
Where is Harmon? 60. I'd rather bet Knox if I was playing there.
He's been really bad with his tee to green game. Brian Harmon. Maybe a return to a familiar spot is somewhere to go look at it, but I don't like him. It's hard to talk yourself into a lot of these guys. I'm kind of with you on Steele. I like Steele last week. Why not like Steele this week? He has a good course history, too, here, doesn't he?
What about your boy Seamus Power?
Why is he my boy? People get mad at me that I don't bet him first-round leader enough. That's the only category he falls in.
Maybe because I saw you bet him like twice in a 1.5 span, so therefore I've called him your boy.
I think this field's a bit too much for him. First-round leader, maybe.
Yeah, I guess thinking about that. This field's so much harder than the Heritage field. Just sort of playing that week off.
Yeah. All right, let's recap what we're in on so far. Cantlay, for me. List.
Grillo,
Hadley, Woo! I'm going to give a hard look to one of the guys at the top, leaning Bubba or Casey right now. I'm going to give a hard look to Russell Knox at 55, and then Keegan and JB Holmes at that 70 and 75 number, I think, deserve some extra research before I'm willing to commit to anything. So those are my guys.
Grillo, Cantley, Steele are in.
For sure? You're in on Steele?
Yeah.
Okay.
Luke List. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe just because I sit
how can you not be in on Luke List?
From you. But I'm... Even in his disappointment, he's grown on me. And that probably has more to do with you than Luke List, the actual golfer.
Probably.
Hadley. Wow. Let's catch them.
It seems like they're asleep on this, and maybe we're the suckers for just going back to the well on it, but...
Let's catch them.
One and done, picks of the week. I was the successful one here. I had Paul Casey, you had Patrick Cantlay.
In the big one, I was so happy to see I still have Rom available.
Sick. I used Casey in that too. I used Casey and I think Justin Thomas on my two teams. Not great. Not great, Bob, but one and done for me this week. Is this a week to burn someone at the top? Like, if you had Spieth left, would you use Spieth?
I have Spieth left.
Do you think it's a good week to use? I don't, so.
He's the only, of the 12 to 1s, he's the only one I would even consider. But I would skip him and go to Casey if I was playing anyone under 20.
I just used Casey. I've used Bubba. I've used Cantlay.
We didn't really talk about it, but do you think Berger he didn't have a top 10 all year. Goes to Memphis where he's won back-to-back, misses the cut. Now we're here where he came second off a good US Open. Maybe he could be a sneaky one and done.
Maybe. I mean, he did lose in a playoff here last year. Screw it. I'll take Chess and Hadley for the purposes of the show. You?
I was going to use Louis.
Well, I suggest you use him in our head-to-head one and done here. I think that's smart.
No.
Oh, Cust is picking Brian Harmon. That's his one and done. I just saw he tweeted it.
So, can we just talk about quickly?
No, can you make your pick first?
Bubba.
Bubba? Okay.
What I found this morning on Twitter.
Yeah, so this has come up a few times now in the recent past, and it's all worked out pretty well. So you would put out that you were betting Brooks.
I didn't even put out I was betting it. April 20th, put out the tweet. I don't even think Brooks had played around yet this year, which is something else to talk about because I remember
we've talked enough about Brooks.
Wrist injuries.
I don't care about this anymore. Just get into it.
Wrist injuries being a whole year off thing. So Brooks 25 to 1 with that thinking face emoji. And Tim replies instantly with a quote tweet that Brooks is his pick to win. Shinnecock. We got to Shinnecock.
And then, also, a month later, he then picked Dustin Johnson to win at Shinnecock. And then abandoned both picks by the time he got around to making picks.
For Spieth.
For Spieth. And then all of a sudden, those two guys are at the top. So anytime Tim makes a pick and then abandons the pick, get on that pick.
And so as you truthers believe he altered history.
I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think they're truthers. I think it's just facts. People know about the Andrew curse. Want to talk BMW for a sec?
I forgot about that. Sure.
All right. So BMW Championship over, I don't even know what the hell it is.
Fleetwood.
Fleetwood is the favorite at the top. He's 7 to 1. Sergio is 12 to 1. Andy Sullivan 16. Thorborn 25. Surrey is 30. Peters is 30. And you got some guys down the list. Obviously, Mike Miller, Baroff, all the Euro guys are probably the ones to lean on with this. On the Golflandia podcast, I'm sure that Baroff and Wiley will start dishing out some winners here. But I was looking at the Miller sheet here for the course form. They didn't play it last year. They played it in 2016. Sergio was 5th. Olesen was 2nd. And Sergio was 12th in 2014 as well. Do you have any? David Horsey?
Horsefield or Horsey?
David Horsey, Sam Horsefield. David Horsey was 7th here in 2016. He was also 7th 2 weeks ago in that weird shot clock Masters. If we're looking at recent form.
Can they add a gimmick to this tournament? And then I'd have more interest.
How about this guy right here? Lee Slattery. What are his odds? He's 70-1. If we're just looking, knowing nothing about him, couldn't tell you what he looks like. He was 13th at this course in 2016. In his recent form, his last 2 starts, 3rd and 19th on the Euro Tour. That's not bad. Where's Shinkwin? I always like that guy too.
I like Beer Garden lately.
Shinkwin's also 70-1.
Otegi, has he cooled down? Because he was like on that crazy form run at 60.
Sullivan has good form too. 7th, 3rd, 35th, 5th as a lead-in. Bergegaard, 6th, 5th, 3rd, 71st.
I call him Beer Garden.
Oh, that's who you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh.
Peters is sorry, not Peters.
What happened to Thomas Peters?
I don't know. Surrey seems rested and fresh.
Oh, Keimer's in this field?
40-1.
Well, I did just bet him at 175 at the U.S. Open to watch him shoot plus 800. I have to do more digging on this, but...
Lorenzo Vera seems to be in strong form as well and has got a recent top 10 here. But I don't know.
Right.
I don't know enough. Alexander Bjork, a 3rd, a 1st, 27th. Miscut, he's playing well. Yeah, you said Baroff, Mike Miller.
There's a lot of good Euro guys out there. I know we're missing some, but I just think it's an interesting field. There's some big names at the top.
So,
coming like a week off of playing the U.S. Open, now coming back to here.
Will Hill lets you like request any bet you want, and then I guess you can make a request by hashtag your odds. I'm not sponsoring them. I'm getting to something. I'll be very brief. But I guess when you do that for yourself, that bet then becomes available to anybody who uses the site under their your odds section. So they've got a bunch of like really random stuff. One being Tiger Woods to win a 15th major before 2031 is minus 120. That interest you at all?
No, none of this stuff is going to interest me because any odd they put up is just going to be geared against the person requesting it because they're going to bet it either way.
It seems to be really funny. Like people are asking for odds like for really random no-name people Doug Gim to win a major.
But by the way, what's the year? He has to win a 15th major by when?
31.
2031.
Not a seniors.
So we got 2 left this year. And we have, what's a viable timeline for Tiger? He probably doesn't win after he gets 45, right? Theoretically. It's probably just not going to happen. So he has 2, and he has 1, 2, 3, he has 12 more after that. So he has 14 majors, basically, to win that bet. If you just bet him at every one, you're getting better odds than that.
Also, he can really, in my opinion, realistically... Outside of the Masters, to me, there'll be very few situations. Carnoustie would be one of them, but very few situations that actually will set up for him.
Agreed.
Outside of Augusta. If you want to...
You know this is the first Tiger mention. We're an hour and 7 minutes in here. It's the first time we talked about Tiger. It's good. I think that's good. Not everything just hinges on Tiger.
Nyman to win a major before 2022.
Oh, Neiman?
Yeah.
Why isn't Neiman playing this week?
Great question. Didn't want to burn one of his exemptions?
I think he got it all now.
Probably did.
Well, he came, second at Memorial. I think that got him in.
Unbelievable.
He's good, man.
He's the man. I got nothing else.
All right, that'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Jägermeister. Give your beer a shot this summer. The ice-cold shot of Jägermeister. Also, become a member of FantasyNational.com. Check out that cool time machine where you can go back and check in the lead-in form of the tournament and all the players who were in it, plus the results, to see if you can find out anything. I found that one ball striking stat. If you guys out there, any member, find some cool stats like that, shoot them over at me, and we'll hash it all out, talk it all out. Geoff Fienberg, you can follow on Twitter, @GFienberg. Congratulations on your Brooks money, dude.
Not enough. Congratulations to everyone else. Our boy, NYC punter Russell, again, deserves double props. And thanks to everyone and you especially, all the kind words that people had to say about the content that you threw out there last week.
Yeah, so we're gonna be back doing it all again, like a month from now for the Open Championship.
It's crazy. It sneaks up on us quicker than this one. The past major feels like it gets tighter now.
It's a
We're
very
deep
quick
in-
turnaround, yeah.
We're deep
And
into
then it's
it now.
another real quick turnaround. Although I don't really go all out for
There-
the PGA
yeah.
Championship. I just kind of play it by ear with that.
I mean, we looked at the schedule. There aren't really many spots where we might see some of these elite players, right? Again, before the Open Championship.
That's right.
Quicken Loans is coming up.
Irish and Scottish, well, you'll get like a mixed bag of like big names that want to get over and get acclimated to the time zones, to the weather, the link style courses. So we'll have some fun with that. Maybe we'll have on someone, a Euro expert, to talk about some of those tournaments those weeks, or we can just do the research ourselves. We probably won't. Anyway, I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience. Give the episode a like. I already talked about the giveaways. You can get into that as well. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Ben Graza will be on the show, talk about the Millionaire Maker and lineup construction, plus obviously DK for the Travelers. Wednesday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the DraftKings YouTube channel. We'll be finalizing our bets, talking about the weather, and taking every single question you can throw at us. Hopefully, if we have enough time, Reed Fowler will be there at DraftKings YouTube channel. Set a reminder. Aight? Pat Mayo, good luck at the Travelers Championship. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!